Good morning, fellow Ambazonians. Today, na Saturday, number 6 day for the number 8 month for the year 2022. My name na Capo Daniel, the Deputy Defense Chief and the spokesman of the Ambazonian Governing Council, aka Sense Pass King, our own countryman. Una welcome to our daily podcast, a program where we bring una the truth, meaningful information for help we navigate this journey to our freedom, the independence of Ambazonia. Good citizens of Ambazonia, the topic of this episode will be titled "The Logic of the Enemy." The logic of the aggressor. The foreign occupier, La République du Cameroon, is pushing an agenda to win Ambazonia in warfare. In all they do and say, in all the influence on the ground, they want you to come to one conclusion, which is the logic of the enemy. They want you to have a certain conclusion, a certain mindset for them to have that ultimate victory over our sense of identity, over our will to resist, and our goal to attain independence. We'll get to that shortly. Yesterday, for Friday, for morning time, around my 6 in Bamenda, going towards Ngongam, that is in Mankon district, 3 Ambazonian youth were found dead, riddled with bullet wounds and signs of torture, abandoned on the street. Nobody could recognize them. Some passerby recognized one of them, who was a bikeman. That was all the information we have. Young men who were picked up somewhere nobody knows, brought into one part of the town, executed, and their body dumped on the street. In video footages that we sent our operative on the ground to visit the area, we could hear our civilians saying, "Where na which kind balok be this now?" For over 5 years, we have been seeing targeted killing, systemic killing, collective punishment, extrajudicial killing, take no prisoners, a policy being run by the Cameroon military through their colonial governor, SDOs, and their military personnel on the ground. At one point, you find our population says enough is enough, like they did in the capital of Ambazonia, in Boya, when Baby Caroline was gunned down by La République du Cameroon military. Her corpse was carried by passerbys, by citizen volunteers who braved the odds and challenged Cameroon military men and led a mob action that leads to the quick execution of the killer of Baby Caroline. Her collaborators ran away in hiding and seek shelter in the colonial governor's office, Chief Terrorist Okala Bilai. The reaction of the Commander-in-Chief of the Cameroon military, President Paul Biya, reacted to reward the collaborators of the colleagues of the Cameroon terrorist occupation military that killed Baby Caroline with Medal of Honor. The soldier who killed Caroline was given a Medal of Honor during her burial by the President of the State of Cameroon, a mark of approval of this modus operandi. It didn't surprise anybody that less than a month from that incident, another baby Tato, was murdered on the streets of Bamenda. Our population rise up and dismantle roadblocks that were put up by the Cameroon occupation terrorists in Quen. The strategy of the enemy is to keep on carrying such operations until you get tired to react, to come to the conclusion through the logic of the oppressor and the aggressor, to get tired and to say, "Where now which kind balok be this?" When Seseko Ayoktabi, the leader of the IG, was brought to Konengi, we locked down Ambazonia. He was brought up the next month, we locked down Ambazonia. They reduced the frequency until we could lock down Ambazonia no more, to come to the conclusion of the logic of the enemy. They will replicate, they will do the same atrocity until they know you will back down, or until they realize he will not back down. The choice is ours. The logic of the enemy is to convince the oppressor that you are responsible for their reaction. When they kill you, you react, they kill. When they kill you, you react, they burn your city. To convince you to adapt the mindset of a slave, the logic of the oppressor, that you are responsible for the reaction of La République du Cameroon brutality. You are ultimately responsible for La République du Cameroon burning down of our villages, marginalizing our people, and treating us as a subjugated people. They want to convince you that it is because of your ghost town, it is because of your self-defense that they have to commit aggression and atrocity against you. The logic of the enemy. The logic of the enemy is the gospel of their facilitators, their agents provocateurs, and their embedded agent within our liberation movement. Those who influence our people, who talks to you on the background, trying to neutralize your reaction, trying to appease you, to convince the soldiers on the ground, do not carry actions because La République du Cameroon will burn down our village. Do not fight La République because they will fight back. The logic of the oppressor is like a man raping a woman. Do you react by pushing away the man who rapes you? Or do you stay in silence and allow him to rape you? Because each time you try to react, you try to shout, he will close your mouth and you feel more pain. Each time you try to push him, he will punch you on the stomach. He will break your rib. You can lose your life if you continue to resist. Do you stay quiet and allow him to rape you? Or do you fight him off and risk losing your ribs? The logic of the enemy, of the aggressor, is to convince you by his aggression that as much as you try to resist, the more he is going to punch you. Fellow Ambazonians, your dignity, your worth, how you value your people will determine your reaction. How you value yourself, your worth, what you can live with will determine your reaction. A dignified woman will fight on, will reject the raper, will scream no matter how hard you strike on him. She will lose her ribs, but she will keep on fighting you until the end. You will either end up raping a dead woman rather than her allowing herself to be raped by a monster. Ambazonian is a dignified, glorified state. Our people must resist till the last blood, till the last man standing. The logic of victory, the logic of a freed man is that logic that attributes to himself the values of dignity, the restoration of pride that will say, I will fight on and I will not allow myself to be violated in any shape or form. I will fight on no matter how many cities or villages you burned. I will fight on, I will protest, and I will resist. The logic of the victory, the logic of a free woman, is to fight and convince by her reaction to initial and continual brutality of her raper that she will not stop, she will never ever accept to be raped, and she will not go down in silence. She will keep on screaming until somebody will hear. She will keep on fighting until she is neutralized, but she will never allow herself to be violated or raped. Such a woman who exhibit and send out such resistance, such resilience, will never be approached again forever by a raper. She will live to tell the story, and she will be a victor. Ambazonians must never accept the logic of the enemy and the oppressor, or will never tolerate or entertain their facilitators or those who preach their gospel. We must resist Cameroon. We must protest each time our sons and daughters are murdered. We must not accept the sight of our sin of dead body being displayed on our street. We must not entertain or laugh at or stand to sigh when the dead body of those who pick up arms to defend our cities and fight for our freedom are killed and laid on our street corner. We must fight La République du Cameroon. We must fight for our dignity. We must not allow our sons and daughters to be slaughtered innocently and put on our street for us to see. They are doing so deliberately. They kill innocent civilians, not because they thought that they were Ambazonian fighters Of course, they have the Kunyam titles, the Success Kongo, the Padia Sama, the scavengers who are going to allow themselves to play the role, to facilitate them and play into their conscience by providing them a list for people to target. Nevertheless, even without them, they would still kill innocent civilians. The whole logic of La République du Cameroon is to make you to accept the killing of your own as normal. The murder of innocent civilians, the targeted killing, the taking of no prisoners, every crime against humanity to become as normal. For you to accept that they have the rights to use act of terrorism to oppress and subjugate our people. We must resist. We must fight for our honor. We must be resilient, and we must send the message and the ideology of a free man, the ideology of resistance, until freedom is attained. Cameroon must know that no matter how many villages they kill, no matter how many civilians or fighters they kill, Ambazonia will continue to fight and will accept nothing other than complete freedom and independence for our statehood. Less than a month after General A4 in Bafut was killed, his children woke up yesterday and neutralized one Cameroon terrorist occupation forces. This is resilient. This is a message to the enemy. And we should all take pride and strength and inspiration from the soldiers of the 7 Kata. It is the job of the facilitators and enablers and spoilers to make this struggle and to make Ambazonian victory and things that are supposed to inspire us to be a matter of comparison, so that it will neutralize the effect the victory are supposed to have on our people. Be mindful of those who, each time a group carry an action, they will tend, instead to promote the action and encourage our people, they will tend to make it a matter of comparison. It is all a planned action to neutralize Ambazonian resilient and resistant spirit. These are all agents provocateurs, spoilers who hide themselves as Ambazonian, but indeed are preaching the gospel of the logic of the enemy. When we win, they make it a matter of, is it A against B? Now A carry am or no be B carry am? Oh, A don't carry am, it means say B need to work. B don't work, it means say A need to work. That is their job. The job of patriot is to promote every victory that can boost Ambazonian resistance, that can inspire Ambazonian youth to replicate and double their effort. All hands are needed on deck. All measures and all means to fight La République are encouraged. Nobody should make your own fight against the actions of another. So long as we are fighting for the same cause, we must have one focus. Unless somebody is standing on your way, focus on one enemy. We have one occupier, La République du Cameroon. We must look for every means and any means necessary to eliminate this Cameroon imminent threat that poses an existential threat to our people. We must focus on this. It is critical for all Ambazonians to know that this is our goal, this is our objective. In playing the music, there are some musicians who sing, but in the background there are someone who play the bass guitar. Some in the background there are some who play the drums. Some plays the small gong. But all of them produce one music. Nobody should make it a fight of the singer is singing more than the guitarist. The guitarist is better more than the piano. Anybody who gets you into that logic is a suspicious person who is likely an embedded agent, especially if they have a track record of pitching one Ambazonia over another each time we have a victory. Be mindful of the logic and those who preach the gospel of the occupier and the oppressor. While in the Atlantic state, we are getting information that one man who is the president of the beach, called Mr. Simon, was shot on his way to the beach. His dead body has been carried to the Baptist Health Center. He is somebody that we have suspected of working with Cameroon military closely to fight the aspiration of our people and supply intelligence of who to target in our communities. If he is a blackleg, this news will be a welcome. We are going to investigate, but that is the preliminary information we have. All those who talk with the Cameroon military, all those who engage with them, all those who work for the CPDM Central Committee who are still active within those cycles are an imminent threat to our people. and should be immediately. This threat should be immediately dealt with without zero tolerance. The Ambazonian forces are encouraged to go after our own who work with the enemy. If any Ambazonian talks with the Cameroon military, mingles with them, should not be allowed to stay one night in our territory. Those people, as we have seen in recent days, are the individuals who are indicators to point out people without any investigation, without any reason, sometimes for simply jealousy, to target innocent civilians to be murdered. They are the ones that are being used now by the Cameroon military to justify and give the moral authority to do what they wanted to do already, to kill innocent civilians. It is and must and will always be a top priority to go after our own who facilitate the murder of our people. Of course, this will give a big blow to their agents, and they will of course try to influence our people against such policy. The policy remains zero tolerance to blacklegs, zero tolerance to the enemies of our state and those who collaborate with them. Back in the Savannah state, we are getting information that the colonial top terrorist, somebody we know who is a highly wanted person, Ngidah Lawrence Che. Ngidah Lawrence Che is a person who is wanted. We had intelligence from his classmates, and intelligence have died down. We are reviving the call for provision of intelligence about Ngidah Lawrence Che. His face will be posted alongside this podcast. He should be considered the most dangerous person in Cambe. He has banned and locked up the market in Nkap. Nkap is in Ngi, in Cambe area there. The market will cause, this closure of the market will cause untold damage and losses and suffering to our Bayam Selam, our Mami, our Papa them for village, for inside Ngi for day. This are the reason why we, the Ambazonia Governing Council, would only open our own market them, they create our own economy away from designated areas by the occupation forces or market that were developed even by the Germans that are being used by the Cameroon authority to project their administration on our people. The people can simply create a new market. We are in discussion with our forces in Oko and the surrounding area, even those in Gi who have been displaced for the most part, on a way forward on how to do. Our people must know and realize the reasons why we have to be independent. Independent means independent. We must be capable of creating our own space for our own people. As our people continue to resist Cameroon, the Cameroon state will always target and punish those areas that are not well defended but that pays total allegiance to our country. It is the same terrorist deal that was seen collectively and randomly picking out people to be tortured and kidnap them for ransom in Cambe town itself. No way is safe for La Republique to Cameroon. Even the areas where you think they have corrupted people, they still turn on them. We are asking for more and more people in the civil society in Gi to continue to reach out as they have been reaching out for us to work on a way to liberate that area from Cameroon occupation and Cameroon influence and rebuild that area and empower our people as we battle for our complete freedom. Capo Daniel, signing off.